Hi there, everybody. I've just gone live. It's April 2nd, Thursday, 1:30 p.m. I am nednednerB, the schizophrenic, and I'm going to wait for some people to join the live chat because I just started it, and I had some issues with the scheduler. It wasn't working for me. I scheduled on desktop, and then I tried to go live with mobile, and it didn't like that. So I'm just going to wait for people to join in. I see one person's joined in. I wonder who that is. Oh, another person's joined in. Great. I've just started doing live streams, and I don't have a huge follower subscriber count, but I have a few people, about 1.7k, and live streams are likely to start slowly. Hi, Pretty Vacant. Hi, WTF Repated. Hey, Crazy Cat. Great. Nice to see you all here. Thanks for joining. I was just explaining to nobody before anyone else was in here but me that I'm new to the live stream situation on YouTube, but I like it. I like answering questions. Hey, Hannah. And it's good to figure it out and interact with people that are appreciating my videos. I like answering questions in the text comments on all my videos. If any of you have looked at the videos, that when people ask questions, I really try to answer them, and that's a really good thing to do. So this live Q&A format, I think, is good for that too. Where is the chat? Oh, there it is. Thanks, Pretty Vacant. I'm glad to provide inspiration. Yeah, I think something that sometimes I get questions on my videos of people that are kind of in more distress than I certainly am when I'm making most of my videos. When I'm making most of my videos, I'm usually pretty level-headed, except for a few that I've done in the past. But when I'm well, it's a very different situation than when I'm close to hospitalization or in the hospital. Then I'm experiencing more hallucination, more delusion, more fixed belief, more preoccupation, more anxiety, all that kind of stuff. And if I can come back from that and share insight into that, I'm glad to provide that to the YouTube community. It's a great thing to do. I have schizophrenia, and your videos have definitely helped give me better ways to explain my symptoms. Crazy Cat said that. Great. Yeah, I'm good with words. I'm good with language. I have vocabulary a lot. I like to read. I like to learn new words. And doctors have so much jargon and vocabulary that they're used to using in their studies and talking amongst themselves. And sometimes the patient isn't told what the name of the symptom is. It's can be cumbersome to learn a whole bunch of language for what just feels like different parts of your inherent being. But having the vocabulary allows you to speciate between, like, oh, that kind of symptom is like that, and this other kind of symptom is like the other thing. And when that's the case, you can find information online about people having those similar situations and experiences, and you can learn even more and share. And yeah, it's a great thing to do. My symptoms are so much worse in lockdown. Is this typical? Yes, Hannah, definitely. Um, I uh, right now I'm calm. Right now I just read what you said and I'm thinking about it. I'm not jumping around the walls. But once when I was in the psych ward, I was in an isolation room, and I literally imagined I was like a light beam going doo, 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 doo. But really I was like running around, and I was so confused, and like I kept seeming to like black out and flash, 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 and I'd be in a different part of the room, and um, sometimes doctors or nurses observed me um, interacting with objects which weren't there, or talking, looking around, talking, and I don't remember much of that ever. So some of what I remember was happening when I was awake, and other parts of my brain were firing off, and different experiences were happening. And yeah, being under lockdown, the symptoms are definitely worse. There's, I find if somebody doesn't have a hospitalization and doesn't have interaction with doctors, they're probably not as unwell, or it's not as disruptive to their experience. But if if another thing happens and a person gets into some trouble and the brain starts conspiring against you, and you have more and more symptoms and more trouble, then you get a diagnosis. But I think there are some doctors that would resist diagnosing someone with schizophrenia unless they had a psychotic episode that was more acute and severe. Hi there, guys. Andrea, Ironfire Horse. Hi, Ironfire Horse. Hi, Julia N. Does anybody have any more questions? So I mentioned in the description of my previous scheduled video that this is not the scheduled one, this is a different stream, but I mentioned that I was going to talk about my experiences these days with the social situation, what it is, the global pandemic, COVID-19, and staying sane. Lots of people are saying stay healthy. It's totally appropriate. Wash your hands and keep distance in public. But people aren't saying stay sane. My dad said that to me in a text message the other night. He said, people, hi EE. He said that people are not saying stay sane. And I have heard that a little bit from various kind of organizations and media that's out there. But for me, I've looked at all the panic and the hoarding and the anxiety that everybody's feeling, the fear-based behavior, xenophobia, racism, that kind of stuff. I can see them having this reaction out in the public, everybody freaking out, and for me, I just kind of step aside and go, oh, I recognize that. I once thought I was in an emergency. I once thought it was a crisis and an extreme situation and an event. And outside of psychosis, when everybody out there in the street is having this intense reaction, it is easy. Hi there, sorry about that. I went down because the Wi-Fi went down, so now I'm on my mobile data. Hopefully the stream is still good. Why did the Wi-Fi go down when I was talking about an emergency state of mental affairs? That's just my brain working. How do I best cope with catatonia? That's a tough one. Maybe some of catatonia and catatonic symptoms are, a lot of them seem to go on when the person is not aware and not conscious of what's going on. So maybe mindfulness practice and staying aware, keeping monitor, keeping calm, keeping steady, hopefully not being impacted by uh, uh, stress triggers that cause one to freeze up. Um, yeah, I think that might be one way. Mindfulness. Um, Staying flexible but not waxy flexibility. Waxy flexibility where a person is just being directed by someone in their blank. Um, Catatonia is a hard one. It's one of the more severe forms of schizophrenia. Does anybody have another question? Am I seeing all of them here? I think so. Do you have any advice on how you cope with catatonia, Pretty Vacant, or is it kind of new to you? So a moment ago, I was talking about my experience of COVID-19. Yeah, staying low in anxiety is important in these times, and watching everyone else have such acute experiences of anxiety and confusion and preoccupation and worry and paranoia, all that, I'm able to monitor myself and see that increased general level of anxiety, the lower threshold for being overwhelmed by the anxiety, that like I've noticed my ordinary everyday triggers of my anxiety and other symptoms to be kind of touching me a bit faster. And when those anxiety triggers are they're more readily apparent right now, and I feel it, notice it, and go, I have to, I have to try to settle down. I have to maybe do some breathing practice, or just get out of the situation, go to my room, go to the internet, go to music, go to food, go to any kind of medicine that you rely on, right? Yeah, so. Any questions here yet? I'm not seeing any questions. Let's see. Top chat. I need to go to live chat. All messages are visible. There we go. Sorry, guys. I have to go back. There's a question. Do you have to take a lot of meds? Andrea asked. Yes, I take quite a few meds. I take like 5 pills, but there's 3 drugs. Yeah, and I don't like to usually share my exact medication because I think it's kind of irrelevant, because doctors they try so many drugs and they don't all work right for everybody, and different ones work for other people. So yeah, I have paranoid schizophrenia too, and I'm glad you're doing this live stream. It's good to meet others who have similar experiences. And I lose the days in it, catatonia. Yeah, I'm on so much medication, I don't know if it helps. I'm from India. COVID-19 is no joke. My uncle came positive, the PG said. Yes, I know it's not a joke, and I don't mean to treat it lightly if that's what you thought. Um, I take it seriously, and like definitely, yeah, it's no joke for sure. All I can say is I just had the SWAT team take me down about an hour ago, so be on your best behavior, folks. I'm not even kidding. Huh. Yikes. This, does it affect your daily life? Yes. I have anxiety and sometimes preoccupation, sometimes delusion, but I'm getting a bit better with that with age, I think. Are you afraid they might run out of prescriptions? Um, in some places that might be the case, but I'm not afraid for my own location here. I think our supply lines are not facing that kind of impact. I'm in Canada. See, I'll go back, see if there are questions back there. You were all clear here. It's conspiracy law, Iron Front Hose. You're back. Better. Same buffering. Whoops, buffering. The virus can really make you paranoid, especially since you have underlying mental health problems, EE said. That's definitely true. Yes. Just trying to stay as sane as you can. Stay healthy, stay sane. Okay, back to the bottom. Tiger7 asking, do you like conspiracy theories? You know, I don't really like conspiracy theories. Like, I like science. I've always liked science fiction. I like video games. I like computers. I like electronic music. I think these things denote that reality and what reality we have access to as humans is really complex and can be complicated and can be really intricate. And like the design of this thing, that's pure intelligence. That shape, those shapes. And like conspiracy theories like the world is 6,000 years old, the dinosaurs are a test of our faith, all that stuff that like strange beliefs, the earth is flat, vaccines cause autism, that's BS. So I'm not too into conspiracy theories really, I'm into science. But I like talking about things. I like interesting fiction, but that's what a lot of the conspiracy theory is to me. It just seems like fiction. And it's not even science fiction. It's not good science fiction. It's like doesn't rely on true things to explore the unknown. It relies on a false thing to insist the false thing. And in my own experience with delusions, I find it to be too easy to trip over weird thoughts. So I kind of have to stick to what seems to be true to the most people instead of those edge cases. Andrea asked, do you feel like I have good medical care in Canada? Yes and no. A lot of our system is still based on cure instead of prevention, and an ounce of cure saves a pound of prevention. A pound of, I just messed that up. An ounce of prevention saves you a pound of cure. I was talking about that idiom yesterday. And yeah, so the medical system is treating people after the fact and doesn't prevent things from happening. I think that's important for long-term mental health care and physical health care. You need to treat the whole system we're in like this system I refer to specifically here, and the ins and outs of the energy, the routines, the everything, and like supporting a person and population so they are healthier altogether rather than just like it's not about taking anyone's freedom away to say, hey, you have an option to be a lot healthier if you do this, this, and this, and we cover healthcare costs and those sorts of things as a group. And that is the basis of stuff of medical system in Canada. We are a public system, but it still could be more geared to the preventative side and the holistic side of health and society. You don't believe in dinosaurs? Ross from Friends would freak out. It's funny. EE asked, are you violent or do you show violent tendencies because of your illness? I've never been violent, but showing violent tendencies, maybe. I think it is common for an acutely psychotic person to make people afraid for their safety, but ultimately there's a lot less violent behavior, like violent acts. There's like a schizophrenic person is way likelier to harm themselves than another. That's there's a fear of someone being out of control and what they might do, but even in that situation, most schizophrenics don't do violence. I'm sure it's not universal, and there's some people that will hit someone or something will happen, but for the most part, the stats and the observations show that harm to the self is way likelier than harm to others. And but I might yell, I might shake, I might jump up and down, I might hit the wall, I might run against the wall hurting myself, but I won't be hitting other people. I've never hit another person like that when I was psychotic. Not that I know of. I might have thrashed when they had to restrain me, but that's kind of like wrestling to get away. That's a different violent tendency than violence, I'd say. Oh no, peace, Tiger 7. Okay. I find here in the States my doctors are more concerned with making me present well, with making me present well over me being well. Um, yeah. Pretty vacant. Maybe that has something to do with the problems you feel are the worst are not the problems they feel are the worst. And if they don't recognize the issues in the same way as you, they might want to see a certain behavior that you find less relevant to your well-being. And those vectors of presenting as well are maybe to their system of theory of viewing it and their psychiatry, their training, maybe they think those issues are what they want to see, or they find those issues to be kind of baseline or foundational to month to month, health visit to health visit kind of direction that it would be better to have like kind of be on the same footing as the doctors and feeling the like on the same page about what are the important things to deal with. A lot of stuff is only covered under private insurance. Yeah, for sure. In Canada, that is the case. You're in Ontario, you said, eh? Andrea, thank you for being so open and for answering my questions. Good luck. Thank you, Andrea. My psychiatrist doesn't hear what I'm trying to say. She just throws pills at me. That's a common experience, yeah. I don't recommend lying to your doctor. If you're feeling worse and you're feeling like you're in trouble, you should ask for help. But otherwise, having a kind of game plan and not like a script, but an idea of what you're going to say, what you think your doctor wants to hear, like not to lie, not to cover things up, but to um, just to have a plan. And like if something that you mention in an ongoing way, your doctor rejects and says, oh, you should take some more pills for that. If that thing doesn't bother you month to month, but you're just talking about it, you want the doctor to know about that, maybe don't tell your doctor about every part of that. And like I think a patient who's just like kind of like sitting there and receptive and answering the questions that the psychiatrist asks, that maybe looks different than someone who's, but I want to do this and I think you should see it this way. And like I was like that years ago, and I wanted to like I had a relapse on a hard drug, and after that my doctor never wanted to talk about that hard drug, but he wanted to talk about marijuana. I use marijuana. Lots of doctors say it's bad for schizophrenia. I have chronic pain and complex post traumatic stress disorder symptoms as well. So, and I've always had insomnia since I was a little kid. When I first discovered marijuana, I started to sleep. So this doctor wanted to talk about weed. He said, how much are you smoking? Are you still smoking? Are you still smoking? And I would kind of combat and say, but what about the hard drug? What about that? Doesn't that matter? And it was just this loggerhead because he didn't care about that one and he only cared about the other one. It was the relapse on a hard drug, and the next couple days later I was back in the psych ward, versus weed every day and I'm fine most days. So it's like that's my experience. But having this conversation with the doctor was disruptive. And that's what I'm getting at. Like having a game plan and telling the doctor what you want them to know. So, but like I said again, not lying about it. That's not what I'm saying. Excuse me. Yeah, Hannah, I hope your conversation with your psychiatrist gets better. Maybe another doctor is possible. Like finding another doctor, I mean, is possible. But otherwise, good luck trying to communicate and build bridges and common ground. Negative symptoms are hard to get rid of. Oh. Pretty vacant. They are more focused on my positive symptoms while I'm more bothered by the negatives, I guess I'm saying. Yeah, negative symptoms are hard to get rid of. That's true. Other than delusions, which are a positive symptom and really hard to budge. Hallucinations are easy to budge, I think, with drugs, but then other people are on drugs and they still hear the voices constantly. So it's like, I think positive and negative symptoms are hard to get rid of. It depends on the person, really, and like, but yeah, negative symptoms are like easier to last rather than be like a momentary kind of upburst of problem. Like positive symptoms are like a here I am, a negative symptom is like this, more of this. In my case, my psychiatrist is very hesitant to prescribe any medications. Only if I'm going borderline psychotic, they will step in, but I like it like that. That's good, Kirsten. Yeah, it's a good model, I think, to prescribe the drugs for a time, and then if you don't need them for the long term, take them off. Having an intermittent, like I've been on meds constantly for more than 10 years or almost 20 years, and um, constant medication basically, and I've still only had 4 hospitalizations. And for much of the time earlier, I wanted to be off all the meds, but now I'm more fine with them. The balance I have is okay, and it's just continuing. So, but yeah, I do believe if someone's having horrible side effects and they can't have a normal, productive life because of side effects of drugs, if they're not right back in the hospital, take them off. But it's, have to go back and forth on that maybe because needs change over time. Kirsten, by the way, I'm from the Netherlands. Hello in the Netherlands. my, my daughter finally saw her psychiatrist for the first time via Skype yesterday. She was on a waiting list for over 3 years. Wow. That's 3 year waiting list. Wow. That's an incredible time for a psychiatrist. I guess I was right in the hospital, so they assigned one a bit easier. You do work on employment. Yes, I work from home actually, and I work for doing bug testing and media content work, and that's a part-time income which supplements disability benefits I get too. And yeah, so some work, some support, and that's good. I like work. I like to work. I like to be active and productive in doing something that helps others or provides a service, you know? Kirsten. Well, pretty vacant first. My voices don't much bother me, to be honest. That's good. Some people are really bothered by them, but that's good if they don't bother you. I was on daily medication for 9 years. Took me 2 years to wean them off, and now we compromised on this way of treatment with drugs. Cool. Hannah Redmayne from England. Hello there. It's really bad in my part of Ontario. It's been a difficult 4 years for her. Oh, it's too bad. Iron Fire Horse. Does anyone have another question at the moment? It's a bright sunny day here in Vancouver. It's getting brighter. Oops, sorry. How often do I relapse? The first two hospitalizations were 4 years apart. The next hospitalization was 7 years later, and the next hospitalization after that was 2 years later. So kind of random. They're in between those like intense relapses. There's some waves up and down of stress and maybe more symptoms, and times when I thought, oh gee, if I got more stressed out and I started engaging in a different set of behaviors compulsively, I might be quite close to another intense relapse. But most of the times between hospitalizations, I always pulled back, or maybe was gradually going until I was going to go up high all of a sudden and have an acute relapse that like maybe some of the stress and some of the problems and some of the things that I could do about it hadn't occurred yet. So I might not have been like yeah, the waves just go up and down. Sometimes I'm more sick, sometimes I'm less sick, and sometimes healing and growth are kind of incomplete in some way or frustrated in another way. And if 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 you don't treat some things, they might come back later, and other things will grow stronger, other reaction methods, other ways to do it. Yeah. Is there... This is getting on to almost 36 minutes. Oh, here's some more questions. Great. Do you have any pets? I do not have any pets. I used to have a cat, Angel. And I had dogs and cats when I was a kid too. Our family had like, lots of cats and dogs over the years, yeah. And do you think schizophrenic people are special in any way? Well, everyone pretty much is special in some way. Like, I don't know, I kind of resist the classifying of normals as normal and special as special, even though there are some things that are ordinary and some things that are enforced culturally. Norms, the normativity part of normal, where norms are imposed. And there's that kind of situation of like some people being castigated as minority and different and worse, that those sort of like go together in some idea sets. But ultimately, there's so many topics and concepts and stories and religions and cultures that normal is a very relative thing, that like me and my friends and I, who I relate to because they have similarities to me, to us, we have a normal, and the other people who say that they're normal and we're not are looking pretty strange to me most of the time. But I think schizophrenics have value. I wrote an essay that's on the trumpeter, like the swan, the trumpeter swan, and the 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 title of the essay was called some part of the title was Spinoza and Deep Ecology: Schizophrenics and Others Who Could Save the Earth If We Learn Eco-Literacy. And my idea was that people with mental health conditions in particular are like canaries in a coal mine for bad culture, for violent culture, for oppressive culture. That a culture that views the earth as a dump is a ripe culture for people to lash out and be sad, basically. And yeah. Do you think it's genetic? It seems to run in my family. My two uncles, my mom, myself, and my two children diagnosed. Wow, that sounds genetic, all right. I've heard that having a family member with schizophrenia increases the chance of your family members having it to 10% from 1% in the general population. So having it run in the family, if a few of you in the family have it all together, that must mean the other family members have 30 or 40 or 50% chance, right? Oh no, that's so intense. I can't imagine. I hope you're all supported and you are managing. That's intense, crazy cat. Wow. Electroconvulsive therapy, Hannah Redmayne. No, I have not had ECT, and I am glad I have not. Cats are a great comfort, also dogs. I love my 4 cats. That's nice, Iron Fire Horse. I'm glad you have the nice cats. Great comfort, also dogs, yes. Okay, I think I'm gonna get off, guys. I'm gonna end the call and carry on with my day. I'm going to do more of these as time goes on, so I will return. Thanks for listening, everyone. um, I saw in the corner of my eye the maximum number of people watching was 10, and now there are 8 listening. So thanks everyone for watching and listening. I'm just going to wait here for a sec because I'm sure someone's going to say bye. Have a great day. Thank you. There, it's coming in now. I wonder how much latency there is between me saying something and you guys hearing, because I just said that for a few minutes and then I started seeing it fly by. So stay healthy, stay sane. Thanks for contributing to this call, everyone. Bye.